Hey, you Stygian Dogs. December 4th saw the release of issue number 4 of Battle of the Black Stone from Titan Comics and Heroic Signatures, titled Battle of the Black Stone, Part 4, The Future Yet Unwritten. Jim Zub and Jonas Scharf bring their Battle of the Black Stone event series to an action-packed close. And man, I already know that many of you are enthusiastic about that final page and its grand reveal. We'll take a thorough look at the book, but first, while you go out and buy it, let's recap the series to this point and then take a look at this month's covers. Conan of Cimmeria discovers a grand gateway crowned in black stone, while across time and space, the heroes of man are introduced. The soul-searing sigil and James Allison's cosmic cry will chain them to a nightmare bathed in black. Uncusped and bounded no more, the author brings warning of the mark's true meaning. The heroes of man are hunted by a beastly behemoth from beyond. Brissa enters the fray, and the cast of characters join Conan in the Hyborian Age, where it's kill or be killed. Reality rent asunder, the beast's vengeance is felt across space and time, as 6 souls stand upon the precipice of a terrifying toll. Though friends are well met, an arduous journey leads to a time-traversing trap. Furious fervor is freed, and the Cimmerian succumbs. 3 now. Now, let's check out those covers. Cover A is from Thomas Nachlik. I really do love this one. It's so good. To me, it just screams Conan. Cover B is from Andy Belanger. You'll be familiar with his work from Fred Kennedy's Dark Agnes story and The Savage Sword of Conan number 4. And here's the fantastic cover C from Mike Deodato. Another fine piece of work. It looks great, colored and in the black and white variant. So now, on to this exciting final issue. And here we go. I'll flip through the book, present a few close-ups of panels. I'll try not to read too much verbatim, but I will outline the general plot and happenings. I want you to be curious and to grab your own copy. Seriously, I implore you, you should buy these comics. I want to give you a sense of how things look and to hopefully convey my excitement and a few summary thoughts. But be warned, if you want a pure reading experience, and I know you do, I would caution you about spoilers. If inclined, feel free to skip ahead to the conclusion. Some things will be revealed there, but it won't be quite as intense as what you're going to see here. On the inside cover, an advertisement for a new chapter of the massive narrative event, Conan, Cult of the Obsidian Moon by James Lovegrove. This is a refreshingly different take on the Black Stone and its malign influence. I absolutely recommend it if you've been enjoying the miniseries. While it's not essential reading for this issue's climax, it's a great opportunity for fans of the event series to step into related Conan prose. Check out my video on the book for more information, and also be sure to check out the other great Conan titles from Titan Books, S.M. Stirling's Blood of the Serpent and John C. Hocking's City of the Dead. Opposite this, credits for the teams at Heroic Signatures and Titan Comics. Turning the page, as with the ongoing monthly series, we begin with the truncated version of the Numidian Chronicles, a map of the Hyborian Age, and a summary of events thus far. When a heart stops, another races twice as fast to balance the scales. The Cimmerian succumbs, a prayer is prepared, the pitiable party must press on. Brissa begins to fade with shimmering witchfire and occult energy familiar to Kirowan. As Conan's life force wanes, so too do the tethers of time that bind the heroes of man. Forbidden knowledge branded in Kirowan's brain, a dark ritual unlocked, a dead language intoned, a knife raised in exchange. For the future yet unwritten. Battle of the Black Stone, Part 4. The knife's point placed into eye socket like key to a tumbler. Grim Jim Zub writer, jaunty Jonas Scharf artist, jumping Joao Canola color artist, rascally Richard Starkings in Comicraft's Titanic Tyler Smith lettering, calamitous Chris Butera editor, merciless Matt Murray consulting editor. A clasp of ethereal energy and the Cimmerian stirs, but it will require the aid of all. Conan's body surges to a scream, Valhalla holding no home for the king-to-be, Kirowan's insight, a path of power normally closed to mortal minds. A spectral parade of Picts snaking through the jungle, a trail to be followed, the Blackstone's curse to be banished in a bloody bolt of vengeance. The journey is measured in stoic silence, a ghostly presence moving through the forest. The ultimate destination of Fool's End, the grim duty of sacrifice in a final bloody battle. The beastly behemoth hovering above an altar born of black stone. With inhuman fury the creature shrieks, with rage unleashed the warriors cry. Now, this is a fun 2-page spread from Scharf, the remaining heroes of man. Swords and spears, ghosts and gunfire. The Battle of the Blackstone is joined. Just awesome. The Cimmerian and the Scout first into the fray. What might be their last moments are steel sent and side by side. A sacred trust. A sacred trust in a righteous God. Kane's just sword, strengthened by prayer against impossible odds. His cause is just. His aim is true. Kirowan, in a battle of both man and spirit. The spectral Allison charges through, his essence resonating with the shadowy altar, and a burst of light as the author returns from the brink. Kane strikes in sacrifice as the writer's mind imagines a world where the beast can be bested. An earth-shaking energy and a time to strike. Conan releases his rage, cleaving the creature, its howl of agony a signal for a curse to be undone. Brissa is charged with the power of her ancestors, fueled by dreams of redemption. It strikes like a bolt from above, the cycle concluded, the hunt fulfilled. Just wicked. And a return of sorts to Chicago 1936 and the Wanderers Club. Borak indulges the investigators of the occult. A glyph once glimpsed, now gone. A greater meaning unknown. Another lead exhausted. The demoralized Conrad is cheered up by Kirowan, his single eye cast to future adventure. Agnes de Chastillon, again in 1522, free of the Blackborn curse and the fury of its hold. Solomon Kane in 1584, troubled thoughts penetrate penitent prayer, but for a moment, and peace returns. The stone's black beckoning a bygone concern. That moment in the Hyborian age when Conan had glimpsed fear in the Pict's pendant now passes, but for a moment's pause as time's tethers tighten. A sigil of no consequence, a sign he does not know, a token left in the dirt. And what of Brissa and James Allison? Beyond dreams and nightmares, the sand of their souls inhabit a new hourglass. Death's carrion call exchanged for a future unwritten. A story that is incomplete and a word is unleashed. A thing glimpsed, a presence like no other. That word, a thing beyond flesh, beyond death, beyond time. An orb that writhes with life, a terror undreamed of, asleep for all time, yet now wide awake. That word, invoked in Underwood type, Shumagorath. And so ends the Battle of the Blackstone event series from Jim Zub and Jonas Scharf. That final page, the beastly behemoth says, but louse on the awakened elder god, an image of horror most humbling, a harbinger of heroics yet to be heralded. Fantastic stuff. I'll let Jeffrey Shanks' essay add context to the epic reveal that is creating such an enthusiastic response from fans, and I'll add a few links in the video description so you can explore Shumagorath's existence in the greater Marvel universe. And join me in the conclusion for a few closing thoughts. Opposite the final page, an ad for the Blackstone Saga trade paperback. This is currently slated for release on April 1st, 2025. Pre-order it now. And another reminder to grab Conan, Cult of the Obsidian Moon. Turning the page, the covers gallery. And after that, part 4 in the series of essays from Jeffrey Shanks. This one is titled, The One Who Awakens, The Strange Origins of Shumagorath. We begin with a segment from Robert E. Howard's short story, The Curse of the Golden Skull. Rototh cursed the limitations of the flesh. He felt his brain crumbling, and he cursed all the men of all the worlds. He cursed them by Hototh and Helgor, by Ra and Ka and Volka. He cursed humanity by the fane of the black gods, the tracks of the serpent ones, the talons of the ape lords, and the iron-bound books of Shumagorath. Jeff begins by noting that for many comic book fans, Shumagorath, the Lovecraftian extra-dimensional Great Old One, is the ultimate evil antagonist, but that few know that it originated with Robert E. Howard, with the name first appearing, as above, in Howard's The Curse of the Golden Skull. The dying sorcerer Rototh, felled by the sword of Cull of Atlantis, mentions the iron-bound books of Shumagorath. Shanks tells us that, while it's unclear who or what Shumagorath is, the similarity to Lovecraft's Shub-Niggurath and Howard's Golgoroth suggests that it could be another cosmic entity, and that it seems that this is the way Roy Thomas interpreted the passage when he introduced Shumagorath to the Marvel Universe in his adaptation of Robert E. Howard's Dig Me No Grave. If you've seen my Dig Me No Grave comparison video, you may have noted that in Journey into Mystery number 1, we see Thomas replace Lovecraft's Yog-Sothoth, used in the original Howard story, with Shumagorath from the aforementioned Curse of the Golden Skull. Shanks highlights that the relaunch of Journey into Mystery and other new horror titles was part of a larger shift in comic book storytelling, and that Roy Thomas, seeing opportunity in the loosening of the Comics Code Authority rules, was eager to see how far the envelope could be pushed as he adapted stories and elements from weird fiction pulp writers. By the fall of 1971, Thomas began to overtly mix elements of the Howardverse into the superhero-centric Marvel Universe with the Doctor Strange run in Marvel Premiere, where, starting in issue number 4, the credits page regularly included the tagline based on concepts created by Robert E. Howard. As such, stories around the Sorcerer Supreme included mentions of Volusia, Serpent Men, the Thurian Age, and Shumagorath. The powerful, godlike being lurked in the background until Doctor Strange came face to face with the tentacled entity in issue number 10 of Marvel Premiere. Shanks closes by mentioning how Shumagorath would appear over the next decades in other Marvel projects, a 2-issue arc in Conan the Barbarian, the Fantastic Four, and even in video games. But now, this ancient, near-omnipotent eldritch entity has finally returned to where it belongs, the Howardverse. As always, the Jeffrey Shanks essays are a must-read. Following the essay, an advertisement for the Conan Battle of the Black Stone Special Edition figure, coming 2025. Here's your chance to join the waitlist. Also, I've posted a video on this. You can check that out. I'm hoping that this is the first of many action figures to come. I really want to get my hands on an Borak and Conrad and Kirowan. Can't wait to see this happen. And on the back cover, Conan Battle of the Black Stone event reading order. This is your handy-dandy checklist to make sure you're up to date on things, especially now that you're reading the final issue, Conan Battle of the Black Stone number 4. How about that final page? The beastly behemoth says but louse on the awakened elder god, an image of horror most humbling and a harbinger of heroics yet to be heralded. Fantastic stuff. Other highlights for me were seeing Kirowan decide to dabble in a demoniac ritual to save the Cimmerian. That was more than enough to make my day, and I especially enjoyed the idea of Conrad and Kirowan persisting in their investigation, seeking the source and meaning of mystery. For, after all, Conrad had once heard the name of ineffable terror uttered from the lips of old John Grimlin, Shumagorath. To close a loop on the event series, if you watched my video on James Lovegrove's Conan Cult of the Obsidian Moon, I posed the question as to whether or not you need to read the novel to enjoy this miniseries. I said that the final page of issue number 4 does add additional weight to the source of the Black Stone, as described by the leader of the Cult of the Obsidian Moon. Let's take a look at that brief passage from the novel. There are worlds beyond worlds beyond worlds, and spaces between those worlds, and what lives in those spaces defies description. It is power, and it is malevolence, and it is wonder. I now know what the eye represents. It represents a void at the center of all creation. It is hopelessness, and inanity, and tragedy, and the slow decay of everything. It gazes at us without compassion, but also without judgment. It tells us that all we believe to be significant is not. All that we strive for in our pitifully short lives is a waste of time. All we hold dear, an illusion. Nothing has meaning. Meaning is nothing. We are dust, he said at last. Infinitesimal. We have no purpose in the cosmos, and to know this is to be liberated. I thought it a fitting description of the eldritch entity by those paltry brains that might endeavor to understand the nature of its existence, especially in advance of this issue's big reveal. Ultimately, I do think both novel and issue number 4 hit that much harder if you've read both, but again, not required. The series ended as we knew it must, with a past reset, a present rewritten, and future adventures to be expounded on. The awesome action and cosmic horror aside, the success of Jim Zub and Jonas Scharf's event series has been the creative integration of others of Howard's pantheon of characters into an exciting experiment of enrichment. And we know that there is more excitement to come with the next event series, Conan the Barbarian, Scourge of the Serpent. This is announced for Free Comic Book Day 2025. The Serpent God's influence tightens its coils around the Hyborian Age and every other age linked to it. 3 stunning supernatural stories will spiral together to answer a chilling question framed in past and present. What is Set's grand plan for humanity? And now that it has begun, can it be stopped? This suggests to me that we'll see more of the heroes of man, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Jim Zub's Conan Battle of the Black Stone and Heroic's Signature's use of its flagship character to affirm the potential of a Howard-verse hits the mark and hints at more adventures to come. Readers should be so lucky. Thanks for watching, liking, consider subscribing. Watch for issue number 17 of Conan the Barbarian, arriving next week, December 11th. This will be issue 1 of a 2-issue arc from artist Danica Breen. And until next time, take it easy, you Stygian Dogs.